everyone! Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars. I am the Black Shadow, and we are back in Paris, France, after finishing up our details in Ireland and solving a couple of pretty annoying puzzles that I just couldn't quite find the right pixel to click on. God damn. Anyway, so we're back here in France, everyone. We found Peagram's gem, which is good. Now we've got the museum to visit. Hopefully Lobineau is around. We've also been given details on the hospital, as well as we found that there's things that we got to do there as well. We've learned about Jacques Marquet and Peagram as well, and all sorts of things going on, folks. So first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go back and visit the museum. Let's see if Professor Lobineau is around or not. Hopefully he is today. He wasn't last time, which kind of sucked. Hello.
He was a thin-faced, pallid guy with a questionable taste in outlandish clothes. My mother used to dress like that.
I have a feeling that could be our guy. When the can you get out of the way so I could have a chat with him? That I can only assume is Professor Lobineau.
I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay, shoot.
At least you found the man we're after. Right, plenty to chat about here.
What can you tell me about Philippe le Bel?
He was responsible for the extermination of the Knights Templar.
I know that, but why was Philip so hot to get rid of them?
Mostly because he wanted to get his hands on their treasure. He had an enormous debt and a lifelong war with England to fund. The trouble was, the Templars were a highly respected holy order.
If the Templars were so powerful, how did this Philippe dude wipe them out?
By underhanded, dishonorable means, of course. The Pope was Clement V, a Frenchman.
French, huh? Handy for Philippe.
Fate had nothing to do with it. He was Philippe's puppet, planted to further his political ambitions. Philippe wanted the wealth of the Templars and used Clement to get it.
Dastardly.
So what was Philippe's plan? What happened?
Sealed orders were sent out all over France, not to be opened until the appointed day. That day was Friday, July 13th. That's the origin of our superstition regarding that date.
Really?
At dawn, throughout the whole of France, the Templars were arrested. It was the biggest bust in the history of the world.
What happened to the Templars after their arrest?
Philippe was out for blood, so he handed the Templars over to the Inquisition. Not surprisingly, they confessed to a sensational and sordid list of blasphemies.
Like what?
Oh, the sort of things you read about in the gutter press. Devil worship, lewd sexual practices, spitting on the Holy Cross, that kind of thing.
Well, that must have given their lawyers some headaches.
Whether or not the accusations were true, this was not good publicity. Most of the charges were probably cooked up, but so were the Templars, literally. Hundreds of them were found guilty of heresy and flame-grilled at the stake. They died protesting their innocence.
But surely Philippe had no proof of his charges against the Templars.
A man will admit anything under torture. The Inquisition fabricated some nonsensical demon called Baphomet, and then suggested to their victims that this was what they worshipped.
But they didn't have to agree.
The records show a Templar coming to trial with both feet burnt off. Fragments of flesh and charred bone falling from the stumps. What would you not admit to stop such torment?
So there was no truth at all in the Baphomet accusations?
Probably not.
Not a shred. Almost every victim described the idol differently. No, Baphomet never existed outside the sick minds of the Inquisitors.
Ridiculous.
So Philippe stole the Templars' riches, huh?
Oh no, they weren't stupid. The king's troops marched first on the temple in Paris, then to the Templar home port at La Rochelle. There was no trace of the treasure, and the fleet of the Knights Templar had set sail.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A
Execution?
dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man.
Yes.
I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn, that's where Peagram was digging.
Yep.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Do you know Peagram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
The second week of July?
Maybe. Yes, it was, just before Bastille Day.
So Peagram was in Paris at the same time as the other victims.
Pardon? Victims of what?
Nothing. Just thinking aloud.
Very interesting. So the victims of the murders of Khan, or that have been murdered in connection to all this, you know, that the Japanese guy and all that, they are in Paris at the same time. It seems Peagram was as well. Very interesting.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Now, this should be most interesting, this. But before we do that, I kind of want to chat about other things, because that might cut the end of the thing.
Take a look at this nose, Lobineau.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
Oh, okay.
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Good, in a way. I'll do the gems one in a
What
moment.
do you make of this ID
I'm
card?
sure most of this is going to be...
Nothing.
Most of these are going to be pretty dud. Also, we have our pick back.
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Vraiment? I didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.
Not that kind.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Huh?
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
Interesting. So Alamut is apparently related to Persia. Cool.
Do you recognize this white powder, Andre?
No,
What does this tissue mean to you?
nothing.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
Damn. So what do you want to ask about first? Do you want to ask about the gem or the scroll? Let's ask about the gem.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Peagram's messenger boy.
Did Peagram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter.
Alright then, let's ask what we're about, here about, the parchment.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, There are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript?
Uh-huh.
I'd love to see that for myself.
Alright, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
This should be fun.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Maybe it was my imagination, but I noticed a predatory look in his eye.
Uh-oh.
Suddenly, this friendly historian had turned into the big bad wolf.
Ooh.
This friend, who has the manuscript,
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Great. Whoops, sorry, just hit my headset there. God, I'm terrible at this thing.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Well, we have learnt plenty about the Knights Templar and its history and all sorts. Very cool. And we've still got our tripod here,
The
folks.
case contained the tripod shown on the manuscript.
So that's good. So at least we know where that is as well. Awesome, awesome. Alright then, folks. So let's head on over to the hospital here, shall we? Let's get out of here. George, thank you. Alright then, folks. So, we've also got Montfaucon now that's become available. The site of the the execution site. I tell you what, folks, let's head there first. The hospital can wait. Whilst we're on the Knights Templar research side, why not carry on with it? I assume this is it. Cool.
I once read a list of low-stress jobs. It didn't include police work. Obviously, this guy hadn't read the same list.
Good times.
A typically Parisian sidewalk cafe. Last time I visited one of those, it blew up. I decided I was happy enough right where I was. Excuse me, officer.
And how may I help you?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the so-so Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
Bloody hell. Out of curiosity.
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac. But it didn't seem polite.
Out of curiosity.
Would you like to shake... I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key.
Indeed.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Alright, folks. So it seems there's plenty for us to play around with here.
In the middle of the square was a manhole. I wondered if there might be something relevant beneath street level.
Possibly.
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Of course we'll need the tool for that. But first, let's look around a bit more.
Fixed to the wall was a sign in 3 languages.
You're not going to tell me what the sign actually says.
In French,
Thank
English, and German, it read, "In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the Knightly Order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine."
Lovely. Alright then, that's cool.
An architectural echo of the gallows that once used to stand here.
That's a bit eerie. We can head up here as well. That's cool. Let's do that. Ah, very nice. Look at this. Very impressive.
A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies,
George.
the flabby flesh of the old men.
George.
That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa!
What the hell?
A knight's tomb, his effigy in marble lying in perpetual state.
You're a strange man, George.
I didn't have time to sit around.
Oh, fine. Wow, this.
A knight there in the company of his fellows.
Very impressive, this. Go, go.
A stone knight lay on the church floor. Just think, there's a dead guy under there. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
Wow, all sorts here. This is quite cool to look at all this.
A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll.
Interesting.
The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well.
Apparently I can play around with this.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much.
Can I take it?
Per disciplinum meum lux videbis.
Game?
A bit of a stained glass window. Wow.
Huh. It's pretty awesome.
Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
Well, you know, you can only do what you can do. Oh, wait, pretty cool.
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4.
Can I play with them?
I wondered if this guy had died in combat. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
Let's have a look at the stained glass window if we can.
A huge stained glass window formed a magnificent centerpiece for its neighbors. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout.
Naughty. Well, either way,
A huge
Very
stained glass
cool.
window formed
very cool, nonetheless.
an enormous window. In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain.
Alright then, everyone, that was fun. I don't know if there's anything else I can do here. I could be wrong. But I don't see anything else here. That was interesting nonetheless. Very good. Alright then, folks, let's get out of here. I think what we're interested in looking at is this manhole cover. Now, I don't know if we're just going to be able to just simply, you know, open it up or anything, am I? Game. Come on. Not this again.
Hey, you! What do you think you're doing? Leave that cover alone. Now.
No. Damn.
Sorry, no harm intended.
You stay away from that.
In the middle of the square,
Maybe there's some way we can try and get this open, but this cop is obviously not going to let us open it up. That kind of sucks.
Hello again, officer.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this red nose mean
Is there anything I can
to
use to try and distract him?
Aha! A prosthetic nose. Very significant.
It is?
No, I am just having a little joke.
Bloody hell.
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. Take a look at this.
Ah, an electrician. My TV has been acting up. Could you fix it?
I doubt it. This isn't my ID.
No.
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Does it mean anything to you?
Do you belong to some obscure arm of the Masons?
Not quite.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern. Beyond that, who knows?
Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody.
He didn't...
Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
Did he think that this was,
What do you make of this grease paint-stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
Yeah. Alright then, folks, that's cool. So,
I'll see you around.
I don't know.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
I don't know if there's anything more we can actually do here, but at least we got to inspect the site here. So that's all well and good. We've got a manhole cover, but we're not actually going to be able to operate it as long as this damn policeman's here. So, Time for us to play around with, I suppose, in the near future, but not right now. There's not much we can do. I don't think there's anything else that we can do that comes straight to mind. So I just wanted to visit here while we were going past, which is fine. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we are going to go ahead and visit the hospital. A grand tour of Paris, this.
The old building managed to retain some of its original grandeur, but the modern additions look like a baseball cap on a statue of a medieval saint.
Heh.
There was no sign of the crew of the ambulance.
Great.
I felt a little guilty as I tried the door, like I was about to rob a grave. I gripped the handle with an involuntary tremble in my hand and pulled. The door was locked.
Damn it! Why is everything locked in this game? Interesting. Who's that?
The young man's face was full of eagerness and enthusiasm. I figured he was fresh from college.
Huh.
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Call me George if you like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's my name.
My name's Benoit, but everyone calls me Bunny.
Bunny?
That's right. I used to have this cute habit when I was a kid.
Keep it to yourself, Benoit.
Yeah, about that. So, of course, we're here to try and see if we can't find out more about Jacques Marquet.
Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
No, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Fair enough.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. I've never seen him before.
We'll have some fun showing this gem to people.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
Not me, sir.
Not even, wow, it looks pretty good.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Merlin?
No, sir.
You know nothing,
What
do
does
you?
this tool suggest to you?
Isn't that used to snap the patient's ribs when exploring the abdomen?
What?
I hope not.
Bloody hell.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamet?
No, sir.
Shake my hand, Benoit.
I don't think that's a good idea, sir.
How come?
Dermatitis.
I don't have dermatitis.
I do.
Ugh.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Is that a nasal discharge, sir?
No, it's grease paint. Do you know what this white powder is?
No, sir.
Well, Benoit,
See you later.
or Benoit, or whatever it is, just, you suck.
The woman managed to look overworked and hassled, though she didn't appear to be doing anything.
Well, perhaps you should be of more use.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir?
is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Ooh, who's that?
Oh, the plans. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Jacques Marquet.
Oh, yes. Are you related to our client, sir?
Not, no.
No, I'm conducting a private investigation.
Then I can't help you.
Damn.
Has Marquet been visited by a man in a clown costume?
Oh, no.
You haven't seen a man in disguise?
Well, there's Theodore the Bear. He comes every Thursday to entertain the children. Personally, I think he scares them half to death in that crummy old bear suit. If I was stuck on my back with tubes in every orifice, he's the last person I'd want to see.
Has Marquet had a visit from a pair of gangsters?
I should hope not. Can you describe them?
A thin guy who looks like a weasel and his friend, the gorilla.
Sounds as if they escaped from the zoo.
So, do I get to see Marquet before the funeral?
That attitude will get you nowhere. My instructions were quite clear. No one gets to see Marquet. So unless you can prove you're a relative or a close acquaintance, you're wasting your time here.
Fair enough. I can understand that.
What does this false nose remind you of?
Oh, it's a clown's nose.
That's right.
Why don't you give me a break and go and play with someone else?
I'm trying to work out what that accent is. I really can't.
What does...
No.
Have you seen this man here at the clinic?
No, sir. And I never forget a face.
Well, that's good.
What does this gem suggest to you?
I advise you not to flash that around. The hospital insurance wouldn't cover it if it was stolen.
Heh.
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
Yes.
Ah.
He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see.
Hello.
He was on ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh, dear. He's on ward J2. That's Nurse Grendel's ward.
Not Nurse Grendel!
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result.
Ugh.
Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
Oh, you mean she's been here a long time?
No, I mean there's not a man in this clinic who hasn't sprawled out on her.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J. How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
Bloody hell, sounds like we need a map for this damn place. Also, it has been very handy keeping this pass with us, folks, has it not?
Have you heard of the Club Alamet?
No. It sounds romantic, doesn't it? The kind of place where you get little umbrellas and whelks.
Huh?
Welks.
That's romantic.
Welks?
What does this tool suggest to you?
Is it a crack detector?
Huh?
Polar explorers use them to poke about in the snow.
No.
No, not quite.
Is this plaster any use to you?
I'm allergic to plaster.
Oh, well, never mind.
I'd like to shake you by the hand.
Don't be fresh, young man.
I'm not going to show the tissue because that wouldn't be right.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Nice. Well, before we head on down to there, I am interested by this man.
The guy seemed to be practicing his air of authority. Today, he was working on his withering stare. Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Really? If you wish to make an appointment, see the receptionist.
Not here about a appointment, you know.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, sir, I do not.
Don't think we're going to get much out of this man.
Do you recognize this red nose, sir?
No, I do not. This is a hospital, not a circus ring. We minister to the sick in body, not the sick in mind.
Thanks.
Look at this, Doc. It's a genuine medieval-type gemstone.
Yes, so I see. Remarkable.
Does the name Thomas Merlin mean anything to you?
No, it does not.
This man is not very useful, is he?
Does this tool mean anything to you?
Sacre bleu! That's exactly what I needed in my last operation.
It is?
I had to improvise with a knitting needle and a couple of corks. If only you'd been on hand at the time. My patient would have given his right arm for it.
Probably literally.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamet?
No, sir, I have not.
Does this white powder mean
I love I'm
anything
just
to you?
asking everyone about
No,
everything
sir.
in my
I do not
inventory.
pretend to know the pharmacist's job.
May I have the honor of shaking you by the hand?
You may not. I don't encourage physical contact between my staff.
Fine. Be honest, anytime we're going to have anyone to talk to who's got nothing down here,
Thanks for your help.
not going to be much use to us. But never mind. Alright then. I could end the video here, but I'm not going to. I tell you what, folks. We've come here to see Jacques Marquet. Let's go ahead and do that before we leave, shall we? We know where he is, so let's do something semi-productive in this video, shall we, before we finish it off?
As I turned the corner, I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors. It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
Huh? Odd looking.
He looked blissfully happy, for no apparent reason. Hello.
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
Whoa!
It's a deal.
Damn.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Mr. Shiny. My goodness.
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on?
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you?
No,
Yeah.
I don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind my back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull through.
Whatever you've got with this metal mop foot is probably a fine and noble thing.
It is. Say, it's not every day I meet someone as crazy as me.
Do you know a nurse called Grendel?
Sure I do.
Is she on duty today?
Yeah, end of the corridor, ward J2.
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the corridors?
No, sir, I haven't. But I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good
my
care of the
God.
rascals, I'll bet you would. With a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
What is going on?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Who is it?
That's what I'm asking you. Have you seen him before?
How should I know? You haven't told me who he is.
It's not the.
Take a look
it's
at
not
the
the
photo.
point.
Yeah, okay.
Now, have you seen him before?
No.
Take a look at this red nose.
Are you a policeman?
No, this is a clown's nose, not a policeman's. What do you think of this, Sam?
Oh, boy. What is it?
A priceless gemstone, found in a medieval castle in Ireland. Get me into Marquet's ward, and it's yours.
I don't wear jewellery.
If this gem was yours, you'd be able to buy 100 Mr. Shinies.
Don't be silly. There's only one Mr. Shiny.
I do love how we're just showing off a priceless artifact to everyone we see in the street. It's great times.
Do you recognize this pass?
No, I don't. Should I?
No, but I wondered if you'd seen a stranger flashing it about.
No, sir. But if I had, Mr. Shiny would take care of him.
Strange man.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
You should never ever play with matches.
I know that, but
People get hurt when they do.
sure.
They end up in hospital, like the burger lady. She was so burned up, they didn't know whether to use bandages or onions.
Onions. Ugh.
Would this tool be any use to you?
No, sir. Mr. Shiny has no user-serviceable parts. Whatever that means.
You don't even know.
Do you recognize this powder?
Is that dandruff?
No way.
It sure looks like dandruff.
It's plaster.
Ugh!
Ugh.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not until I'm washed, if you don't mind, sir. You can pick up all kinds of things in a hospital.
Like nurses, right?
No, sir. Bugs and germs. And fungal infections.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
You have a cold. What you need is vitamin C. And a side order of machine oil.
Good stuff.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
What a weird man, everyone.
It was a life-sized marble figure of a guy in robes. The sculptor had tried to give him a look of paternal authority and concern. To my mind, he looked just plain constipated.
It's nice.
There was no way I could improve on the sculpture with the janitor watching me.
I don't know, I was trying to improve it. Ooh.
I guess the water cooler was for the use of people lost in the corridors.
Can I have a drink?
Maybe the face of the unaccountably happy domestic had made me unduly suspicious. I mean, I knew it was only my imagination, but the water tasted, well, peculiar.
Peculiar? Really?
Maybe
Hey, what's that?
the connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine.
George. Surely not.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered.
George,
And died.
what's wrong with you?
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
It was a classic example of functionalism, like an early Soviet spacecraft. I almost expected to see a dog or a monkey leap out.
Why do I kind of...
The door didn't have a sign or label or any kind of identification.
I have a feeling I've got to play around with that.
Hey now, you can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
Ah, okay. Alright, I think we're getting somewhere here.
Hello.
Oh, hi. No whistling, right?
Right.
Okay, right. So I think we have a distraction we can do here. Alright then. Do you want to do this now, or let's do this now, everyone. Why not? What we're going to do is we're going to save the game. Didn't think I was going to be doing this video, but hey. What a vandal I am.
As I tugged the...
Not again. This is not a good day.
Just kick the damn thing. Right, so can we play around the machine? Or maybe I've just got to get into the doorway.
I wasn't...
No, in.
I was about to open the cupboard when I heard the janitor returning.
Too slow, Shadow. That's what you get for looking at the wrong object. So one more time, everyone. Because this janitor does not realise that he should just, like, super glue the damn plug in.
Take that, you stubborn tin can.
Kicking the damned out of that. Quickly, in. Ooh. Hello.
Dr. Stobart at your service.
Ah, okay. We've stolen a doctor's coat. I don't quite know why, but we have done so. I suppose this is good, as I just save over that slot there. We need to be ending the video here in a moment, but I don't want to do it just yet. A few minutes later. What the hell? Did I just get lost, everyone? I think I did. That was really weird, everyone. Huh. Okay. Don't know quite what was the point of that. Here we are.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Oh, hi. Is this Ward J2?
Yes, sir. The patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. Well, who's first?
Monsieur Croquet in bed 2.
What's his problem?
He's been complaining of loss of consciousness. You'll need this, Doctor.
Right, folks.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
So I'm guessing if you just come straight in here, that you basically just get kicked straight out by the nurse.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stobart.
Hello, Doctor.
The nurse told me you keep losing consciousness.
That's right. I've had the problem as long as I can remember. It's a real out-of-body experience. Like death, but not so conclusive.
I see. How long does it last?
Just a fraction of a second, and then I recover.
I might not have been a doctor, but I was formulating a diagnosis all the same.
You were?
This guy was nuts. I know exactly what you mean. It's known in the medical field as...
Blinking.
Is it serious?
Of course it isn't serious. It's perfectly natural.
But just think, 2 seconds every minute. Why, that's almost half an hour every day. 2 weeks out of every year spent in total darkness.
I don't have time to listen to this baloney.
Oh my god. You gotta be kidding me. He's...
Which bed is Marquet in?
He's round the corner, in solitary.
What's the matter with him?
I don't know, but the men who brought him in were wearing masks and rubber gloves. Hey, you're a doctor. How come you don't know?
We doctors don't know everything.
Then how come you act like you do?
Good question.
Has Marquet had any visitors?
Nah, neither have I. That's the worst thing about being in hospital. You feel like the rest of the world has abandoned you.
Well, you know how it is. Life goes on.
Thanks for those comforting words.
Not sure how comforting they were, but hey.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Nah, Doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer.
One of your colleagues?
No, he really is a murderer.
I've never seen him before.
Good. Keep it that way.
Do you know what this piece of equipment is called?
No, I don't.
Right.
I thought about giving him an electric shock, but I just couldn't do that to a sick guy.
Aww. Okay then, well, I'm not going to ask you about everything here.
Well, goodbye and good luck.
Thanks, Doc.
Alright then, that's cool.
Now, I was no doctor, but this guy looked dead to me.
Ooh. No, he doesn't want to get involved in that, I can understand.
According to the chart, this guy was called Croquet. The graph showed a steady decline in his pulse rate and an increase in his blood pressure. It kind of shook me to see this guy's life reduced to a few jagged lines.
Kind of eerie if you ask me.
The name on the chart was Boissy. The poor guy's temperature had been up and down like a white knuckle ride. No wonder he looked so sick.
Where are you?
The name on the chart was Sopmarsh. His temperature was normal, with little fluctuation either way.
So he's doing okay. Cool.
The nurse was stunningly beautiful. The guys on this ward sure were lucky to be in her care.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
What's his problem?
He's delirious. He just now came out of theater. He's recovering from major surgery.
I'll have him up and about before you can say, Lazarus, get out of your bed and walk.
Does she even know who that is? Probably not.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What's your impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, Doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
3 months? Bloody hell.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, Doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer.
Really? He's a dead ringer for my bank manager. Of course, Mr. Soames hasn't got a scar. And he doesn't come from the Middle East. His hair's a lot grayer, too. Otherwise, it's just like him.
Remarkable. My goodness.
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job.
Careful, George, if you're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, so I won't actually do it. Okay, then.
I thought...
No, I won't do that. Okay, then. That's cool. He seems okay. Have a chat with the nurse. Perhaps she'll... I don't think she's going to necessarily let me do...
Doctor?
What is it now, nurse?
Number 2 again. He won't tell me what he wants. He says he'll only talk to a man.
Do I have to? That guy's nuts.
Doctor, I'm surprised at you. There's no way to talk about our clients.
Okay, I'll see him. But I'm telling you, he's a hypochondriac. Hello again.
Are you sure you want to talk to me anything?
Well...
He doesn't. He's got nothing he wants to talk to me about. You're lying, nurse. Now I can finally talk with him. Okay, then. Or talk with him? Whoops.
Do you have any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
Hardly. Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
Wow.
What's wrong with Boissy?
He was involved in a very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
Oh, no.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good.
He won't perform ever again, folks. Ugh.
Do you have a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward. He has been placed in strict isolation.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that Marquet's room is strictly out of bounds.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
No. indeed it isn't. Fair enough. Alright then.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Let's go have a quick look over there, shall we? Is it guarded or anything?
Doctor,
Yeah.
What is it?
you haven't taken my blood pressure.
Oh, I was going to, and then you didn't let me. Well, the game didn't let me do it. What the hell was that about? Never mind.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Come on, game. Let me have a look.
It was a life-sized marble figure of a guy in robes. The sculptor had tried to give him a look of paternal authority and concern. To my mind, he looked...
Oh, that description again. I just want to come over here and just explore this room, and then I'll end the video, folks. I know it's been a bit of a long video, this one, but that's fine. Oh, you really...
Oh, Doctor,
Come on.
What now?
you didn't finish taking my blood pressure.
Are you really not going to let me get down this side of the room?
Okay, let's try again.
I want to end this video, sir. Please stop delaying it.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing, do you?
I'll come back when you've recovered your manners.
Yeah, you. Have some manners and stuff. Very rude. Oh, for the love of...
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
I don't think I'm going to get down this side of the room, folks.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
It's not like that. I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
You're not going to let me by at all, are you? You are deeply disappointing me. No. Okay.
You haven't finished taking...
Bloody hell. We're not going to get past everyone. Not good.
Will you...
No. Okay, then. Alright, folks. I'm actually going to have to bring an end to this video here, I think.
Hi.
Because I can't take it or anything, so... Alright, and so I know it's been a bit of a long video, but that's not a bad thing. So, thank you very much for watching along to this extended version of Let's Play Broken Sword. And next time, folks, I am going to find a way past this damn guy in the hospital bed. So help me, Lord. I'm going to do it. I'll see you then.